Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Ethos Online. Again, this is a place where we can be, belong, and become the very best version of ourselves. And so, before we begin, again, please look down at the descriptions below. We ask that you would consider donating, helping us continue to support this, the podcast, the videos, the blogs, the live ethos sessions, all of it. That all helps us continue this ministry that we have. And so please consider giving there tax-deductible donations and also subscribe. We'd love to continue sharing these videos, and if you would, share them as well. So again, thank you. Welcome back to Ethos Online. So we have been moving through, again, this series, A New Way to Be Human. And it has been so fascinating. I've had so many people text me, call me, email me, and say, man, I can't believe we've taken this long to move through the Sermon on the Mount. Because typically you'll hear like a sermon or two on this topic, but really there is so much richness to this. And so it's so important for me to go verse by verse and really delve into what the real meaning of it was and how to apply it. Because again, if we look at this message and we don't actually apply it, it's just a sermon. It's just someone talking at us. And so today, again, I want to share what the first century people would have heard when they heard Jesus speak. And then, of course, how do we live this thing out? So, as we begin, we start by simply saying, first century people, when they hear of Jesus climbing on up this mountain, and there on this mountain, he begins to expand on Torah, specifically the commands. Immediately, a first century person, they're going to connect this to Moses. They're going to say, this is the same individual, the same person, the same kind of message that we've seen in the past. Except here's the beauty. Every single prophetic voice, they take what was given before, and then they expand and they go deeper. And so every single prophetic voice in the past continue to grow and expand and build on what the past had given them. And so again, in Jesus, we have basically Moses 2.0, don't we? And we have a deeper understanding of the law. We have a deeper understanding of what it means to be human. And so again, the Sermon on the Mount, it's a deeper critique into the heart of the law. It's actually a beautiful message of what it means to be human and live in community. And that's the message of Jesus. And so again, understanding that, we understand also that these people during this time, 70 AD and on, they are people who saw their temple destroyed. They lost everything. And so the message, of course, is written for that purpose. The purpose was not to spread this message of Jesus out to the world. That wasn't the first and foremost reason they sent it or wrote it. Another reason that many people have believed is that we need to spread the message of Jesus because now, because of the cross, we're no longer evil sinners. Jesus paid the price. No, no Jewish person in their right mind believed that. That is something that was tacked on years and years later by a Roman Catholic and post-Jewish connection. That's not the message of Jesus. It was never that the murder of Jesus put God in a good mood. Not the point at all. That wasn't the message. That wasn't the purpose. The purpose, again, the reason this whole thing is being shared is because there was a group of people who lost everything. And they're asking the really important, I would argue, a relevant question for today even is this: what do we do moving forward? Right now, we're living in a really interesting time. And I know years from now, someone might pick up this video and say, well, what happened? Well, here's what happened. We're in the middle of a time where everyone's in quarantine and isolation, and we're worried about COVID and churches and organizations and businesses, families, right? Everything is shifted and changed how we're going to be moving forward. And the question is, what stays, what goes? How do we move forward from what has happened here presently with COVID-19, isolation, quarantine, all of that? Is there hope for this new birth to happen? And so for them, the question was, what do we do now, right? Is the Jewish religion, is this whole thing gone? Is it dead now that our temple's been destroyed? Over half of our people murdered right there on the streets. Is it dead? And the message of Jesus, once again, and I cannot say it enough, the message is no. No, you are the temple. You are the place where those values, those beliefs, those rituals, you're the place where it lives. And when that happens, the whole thing's resurrected. It's resurrected in you. And that is the beautiful message of Jesus. And so again, this message, the Sermon on the Mount, the Law 2.0, it's all there. It's all there in this short message, these 2 chapters, it's all there. And so again, we talked first about happy are you. We talked about the blessings. If you do these things, consequences will follow, right? We often talk about the negative consequences, right? If you touch the hot pan, you're going to get burned. Those are negative consequences. But here's the beauty. If you do really good things follow. We don't do the good things so that we get more good things. We do the good things because we're learning to be better and better human beings. We're enjoying living in harmony with other people. And when we live in harmony with the world around us, naturally those things follow. Those are the consequences. Those are the blessings. Makes sense. Yeah. So, all right, here's the next verse. And this one I really like because it's often misused. So here it is. This is Matthew 7, verse 6. It's very short, but I'm going to unwrap it with you a little bit. And I'm going to give you a little historical elements to it to make sure it makes sense. So here we go. Do not give what is set apart to the dogs, nor throw your pearls before pigs, lest they trample them under their feet and turn and tear you in pieces. Interesting, right? What do you do with that? I've heard people talk about, I'm not going to give that guy advice anymore. He never listens. This guy's an idiot. I don't go anywhere near that person because of this or this or this. I've even heard people talk about like their religious beliefs that, well, if someone doesn't believe my religious beliefs, if they don't hear this, if they don't align themselves with me, then I'm not even gonna mess with them. Is that what this is about? We'll go into it. But here's the context. Remember, we've been talking about gracious giving, right? We've been talking about why we should give, right? Giving should be done graciously. We shouldn't be expecting anything in return. That's been the context before we got into this verse, right? But here's the question that Jesus posed now. We know we should give. We know giving does incredible things for community, also for ourselves. We know giving does good things. But here's the question that's posed in this verse. The question, of course, is this: who do we give to? Who's deserving of the gifts that we give? Interesting question, right? Because here's the thing. Many of us, how we give is often dependent on who we are, what our values are, what our beliefs are, what our history is. A lot of it's dependent on that, right? I'm not going to give to the drunk. Right? How many people, again, I lived in Southern California. Everywhere I went, there was homeless people. And I remember hearing, this guy over here, he does this for a living, right? I've heard of people like, they'll hop in their Benz after they've done a day of like just asking for money. They're actually doing really well. I was told, don't give to people on the streets. Give to organizations that help people on the streets because you never know what they're going to do with their money. I remember hearing that, right? I know some people, they will not donate to something if it's a red or a blue organization, right? If it's an ass or an elephant, they won't give, right? Who's deserving of my gift? Yeah, if someone's got anger issues, if they're beating their wives, whatever, who do you give to? What is your what is your rubric when you give, right? How do you decide how to give? Now, let's keep moving along, and we're going to answer that question, or at least Jesus does. So here we go. Dogs and pigs. He talks about don't give to dogs and pigs. So obviously this is metaphor, right? And we're not literally looking at dogs and pigs. So who is the dog? Who is the pig, right? That's always the question people give. And many people will say this. One writer says this: it is the Gentile. And again, a Gentile is anyone that's not Jewish, right? In fact, even the word sinner, in that context, that first century context, a sinner is a Gentile. A Gentile is someone who's outside of Judaism. They are the other. So watch this. This individual, this theologian, says this: it is the Gentile that Jesus alludes to because both were considered deeply unclean and symbols of non-Jewish thought and practice. So, is the pig and the I almost said pig and the fish, pig and the dog, are they the people we don't give to? Do we not give to someone who's not a part of our tribe? That's the illusion that this theologian would say. However, here's the thing. Here's why I just have to disagree with that. When I read about Jesus, when I read the teachings of Jesus and the narratives that follow Jesus, I don't see him going out and saying, no, Gentiles are evil. We don't participate with Gentiles. No way. I actually see the very opposite. I love this picture here. Take a look at this picture. So interesting to me. This is like a modern depiction of Jesus sitting with the others. Because that's what Jesus does over and over again. It's not that he pushes the Gentiles, the non-Jewish people, the people who don't believe the same way as me. Over and over again, what Jesus says is, no. Everyone's invited to the table. Those who are ostracized, those who are marginalized, those who have been broken by the religious system, right? Those who have been exploited by the politics of the day. Those people all have a place around the table. Beautiful. And so it cannot be that Jesus is referring to Gentiles. It just can't, because it would make absolutely no sense. It would go against the very message Jesus shared over and over again. Everyone's welcome around the table. The good gift, right? The good gift is for everyone, Jew and Gentile alike. So it cannot be that. Here's what we know. Jesus, the writers, however you want to believe, right? The writers who are placing this in the mouth of Jesus, or Jesus himself, whatever you believe, here's the thing. This is a reference to the Old Testament. Always. You see over and over again, he is using language that these rabbinical people, these people who understood the Bible, who've read it since they were, 1 or 2 years old, they've been given it over and over again. By the time they're 12, they have it memorized. So when they hear this about the pig, immediately they begin to make a connection. Because here's a very popular proverb, Proverbs 11:22. And it says this, like a ring of gold in a pig's snout is a lovely woman who lacks good sense. Today, we might find that a bit offensive, especially with a bit of a feministic culture now, right? Women deserve the same amount, the equal rights as men. Today we have that ethic, but back then they didn't. And so please kind of wade through that as you read this text. But please understand the deeper meaning here. Again, it's lipstick on a pig. That's what it's saying, right? Like a ring of gold in a pig's snout. A pig is not going to appreciate this ring of gold, right? It's actually going to kind of get in the way. A pig is not going to appreciate these things. However, a lovely woman would appreciate those things. And so you can kind of see what they're saying here. Again, if you give a gift to someone who won't recognize the beauty of the gift, it's no different than putting a ring on a pig's snout. Makes sense, right? That's the connection that is being made here to Proverbs. And so here's the message. Here's the deeper truth here that's being said. And I hope you connect it. I hope you get it. When you give, because again, the idea here is you should give. Giving is part of being in community. Giving is part of what we do. And again, I get it. Some of you are listening right now and you're like I have heard the sermons, like I've been to these churches where they talk about tithe, right? You got to tithe, you got to give to the church. And again, the mega pastor leaves that church and he flies out in his other jet, Yeah, that's misplaced. That's messed up. It's wrong. What I'm talking about here is giving because it's part of being human. Giving is part of being part of a larger community. Giving helps others receive and grow and become more human. They benefit from this. And so giving is intricately a part of who we are. Giving is just as important as receiving. And so again, when we give, because giving is so important, when we give, we should use discernment. Yeah. And so again, watch this. The acts of kindness are intended to care for the poor and needy among us, but if they won't accept it, the gifts should be given to someone that will. So again, think about this. When you give to someone, again, the message of Jesus is when you give, because you will, because it's part of being in community, when you give, make sure the person you're giving it to is going to utilize the thing. They're going to use it. They're actually going to take what you've been given or what's been given, and they're going to use it to benefit others, to make something better. That's the idea of giving. And so think about this. I thought about a couple scenarios, right? If I saw like a neighbor beating his wife, and I came upon them as he's beating her, and it's ugly. Can you imagine if I came up and I said, "Hey, here's a book about the dangers of abuse"? Probably not going to be the best gift at the right time. Am I right? Yeah. He's probably going to take the thing, throw it at me, and maybe even like they'll both turn on me and start beating me. Who knows? I don't know. I just know that wrong timing, maybe even wrong gift, right? Maybe even not even the right person yet, because that person's going to need to go to therapy. That person's going to need maybe even to be jailed for a time. I don't know. Some things need to change before he's prepared for a gift. And again, timing is everything. So use discernment when you give your gift. How many times have people given you something, and again, you felt like it was the wrong intent, right? How many times has someone cast judgment on you by giving something to you? Yeah, because again, there wasn't discernment in the gift, was there? Think about this one. You walk in the bar and you see a drunk man just passed out on the bar. Would you give the man a bunch of money in the present state he's in? You could, right? But again, would that benefit that person that much? Maybe not. Probably not. What does the man really need right now? He may need someone to drive him home. He may need someone to take him later to an AA meeting, right? He may need someone to take him who knows? He needs something different than just your money. And so again, consider discernment there. Over and over in these moments, it takes some discernment. It takes someone to think intentionally, right? I had this happen. There was a group that I was working with for a while, and they were doing anti-human trafficking in Orange County, and I absolutely loved what they were doing, and I was a part of it. I was connected with it. We were doing really good work, and we brought in a speaker, and this person did some incredible speaking. Well, actually, that day we brought a bunch of different speakers, but one of them, they did a great job. They were very like dramatic up front, and they shared this really interesting testimony and everything. And here's the thing: I'm sitting at home, and I get a phone call. I get this phone call, and on the line they said, "Hey, Tony, you know such and such a person that you had, at your church that one week?" I said, "Yeah, I remember them. They did awesome." Well, we just found out they have been actually trafficking girls. I remember hearing it and just feeling devastated. So devastated. And when I looked back, I realized I didn't do as much research as I should have. I actually didn't interview this person like I probably needed to. I didn't take time. And again, so organizations, when you give to organizations, have you studied the organization? Do you know if your values align with them or not? It's so important when you give to use discernment, to be intentional with what you do. And again, lastly, here's the thing. Timing is everything. Timing is everything. Making sure that when you give, because again, it's what we do. When we want to learn to be better and better human beings, we give, and we give graciously and lovingly. And so timing, though, is crucial, because when you give a gift at the wrong time, man, it just has the ability to absolutely do the very opposite of what you're intending to do. Consider the timing of your gift. When I was in Orange County, we had a couple months that were pretty rough, and we went through the rice and beans, and we were struggling. And it was actually at a time when we had left our former tribe, and we were just kind of struggling financially. And I'll never forget, I am like struggling every day trying to figure out, how are we going to make money? How are we going to pay the rent this month? And as all this is going through my mind, I go to the mailbox and I get a letter in the mail, and I open the letter, and the letter reads, "I just felt really impressed after talking to you. to send you this. Have a great rest of the week. And there was a check, and the check, it helped cover the rest of our bills that month because they knew the timing. They knew what was going on in my life, and they knew me. They knew my family, and they knew that the timing was right. And for me, that meant the world. And so again, when you do the right thing at the right time, man, it makes such a difference. It makes such a world of a difference. And so when you give the good gift, again, Jesus is telling us, use discernment. Consider the timing. When you do, the gift is so well received. And so in the words, I might say this. If I were to give a summation of this text, I would say this: do give, right? Give. Give if you can give. But use discernment and discretion when giving gifts of love. Yeah, I feel like you can't go wrong when you do it that way. And so how do we do this? Here's a couple different ways I've found for me and for others that I've talked to. These are different ways they've used to kind of figure out, how do I give? Who do I give to? When do I give? First one, again, is this: find organizations that your values align with. Those are the people you give to. There are organizations I've stopped giving to because I just thought, man, what they're saying doesn't connect with me. It just doesn't. It doesn't actually fit with the person I'm becoming. And then the other organizations, I found, man, what they're saying, it makes sense. It fits. I don't always agree with everything they say, but the majority of the time I'm thinking, yeah, this fits, this aligns with who I'm becoming. It makes sense, right? And so you give the gifts to those organizations, those people that you know are going to use them well. Next, does this gift help or hinder others? Like, think about that. Does it help or hinder others? Make sure your gift, again, of time and resources is benefiting others. I think that's so important. Does this have the potential to do good things in the world or not? Yeah. Does it give a gift that's going to make the world a better place? Yeah. Like, think that one through. Don't give someone, a bunch of, I don't know, something they obviously don't need, right? Buckets of toilet paper when they've got tons now at Costco, right? Not the right time. And they could have used that like 3 months ago. You understand what I'm saying? And then lastly, again, is the timing right? Consider the timing. When giving a gift, ensure the timing's right, because that's going to benefit them the most. Timing is everything. Especially right now in the season we're in, giving is so important. And so consider your good gift. The timing is probably right for many people. And so I know giving at this time, so important. Anyways, everyone, I love you. Do give. Do give, but use discernment and discretion when you're giving the good gift. And so, great segue for me. If you've appreciated what we do, and again, we are doing podcasts, videos. We are doing live interaction discussion groups twice a month. And we're getting people from all over the nation, all coming together, giving the good gift of discussion and dialogue and acceptance and love. That's happening. We're doing all of these different things. We are a nonprofit. And again, we would benefit so greatly if you would consider partnering with us and giving the good gift. Because we feel what we're doing here is a gift to the world. It is a gift that can help make this world, our communities, and self better and better. And so we hope you enjoy this. And as always, please consider Ethos Living Rooms. We talked about it just now. If you want to be a part of it, if you want to interact with other people who are in liminal space, who are asking the deeper questions, who want to go deeper, that want to understand first century context, understand all of those things, this is the group for you. And so again, this is very easy to do. Email me, Tony Werfel, WUERF as in Frank, EL @gmail.com. Email me. Say, Tony, I want to be a part of this group. Again, it's free. So I'll send you the link. Join us the first and the third Saturday of every month. Again, we would love to have you be a part of it. So join us there. I'll send you the Zoom link, and you can be a part of that. And as always, subscribe, click the bell. You'll know every time we have a new video. Everyone, I love you. Thanks so much for joining us. This is such a great teaching. The teachings of Jesus, again, I find are so powerful and applicable for today. And I hope after this series, you might agree too. Everyone, I love you. Take care, and we'll see you next week.